People are more scared than they've ever been. Anxiety is skyrocketing through the roof. Depression is at an all-time high. And with all this happening, no one truly knows what the reason for it is. Today I think I might have found that reason, or at least a start.
Get strong.
So a topic that we covered a few times on the channel is the idea of modern men versus men of the old ages, and like comparing the two and analyzing what has changed between them. And obviously our goal as like men on self-improvement, working out, trying to better ourselves and become stronger, our goal is to like return to our ancient roots in a way and revitalize that masculine energy within all of us, or that feminine energy within all of us. If you guys are girls watching this, regardless, just become our most natural self and return to that state of symbiosis, if you will. And I believe that one of the main reasons why we've been so fearful as a society lately is because our fight or flight mechanism, that like response within us that is triggered when we believe a situation to be deadly. Because if you think about it, that's literally what the fight or flight response is. It's a reaction to something like being chased by a tiger or a bear. That's why the fight or flight response is there in the first place. It's from our primitive ancient ancestors that had to, fend for themselves out in the wild. But instead of fending for themselves in the wild, which is obviously unrealistic, I mean, some people hunt, but besides like hunting and a few other things, we are a very modernized, comfortable society. And if you think about it, every invention that's been made since the dawn of man can pretty much be traced back to wanting to make life more comfortable. And that is just the direction that society naturally goes. However, with that, we don't have any opportunity to feel any real fight or flight response, like being triggered in any actually scary situations. So instead, it comes out in other ways. Because we don't push ourselves and confront the things that we fear, we instead get fearful about stuff that isn't really important. Like, sometimes I'll just be walking around and out of nowhere I'll just become like anxious. Like, it's not for any proposed reason. It's just anxiety within us that is triggered by certain things like talking to strangers, etc. Do you think that our ancestors were afraid to talk to strangers? Like, definitely not. They were armed to the teeth to defend themselves properly. They were strong, they were big, and they had people around them. I think that this individualized society is very, very damaging to our like overall well-being, because we're forced to go out into the world completely on our own. And like, for example, I'll give you guys an example. Back in the old days, if a certain tribe needed like a certain resource, let's say they needed lumber, they wouldn't go looking for it on their own. They would go as a group. They would stick together. That way, if anything bad happens, they would have the numbers to back up that like bad situation. And obviously that's not the case now. We're not going up to random tribes that could be dangerous asking for lumber. But anytime we sort of interact with people, there is an element of rejection at play, and there is an element of people not reacting to you in the way that you want. Stuff of this nature overall. And instead of like being just okay with it, we get that fight or flight reaction triggered inside our brains, I believe it is truly because we are not strong enough. Like, we are weak, so we get activated by silly things, and we never really face any true hardship within our life like our ancestors did. And this is not talking about like emotional hardship. I'm talking about like physical hardship. If you guys are under a roof and you have food and water, you're 99% better off than our ancestors were, because you don't have to go out and fend for yourself. Your parents work probably, they provide for you, and all your needs are actually met, except you have this internal anxiety that you can't quite quench. And I believe the way to overcoming anxiety is truly to do things that make you anxious. That is pretty much the point of this video. Once you start doing these things that like make you nervous, like such as showing affection to parents, siblings, going out talking to strangers, or just overall confronting your irrational fear, whatever it might be, public speaking, etc., you will start to be more in control of your anxiety. And I've noticed over the years, like as I've been doing all these habits and overall just becoming a better person, I've realized that I still have that anxiety, right? And that's fine. We are supposed to have that fight or flight response within us. Like, if you don't have that, you should be worried, because everyone has it. So once you start learning to be in very uncomfortable situations, like the whole cold shower thing, what's the point of that? There's a reason why I do it right in the morning. It's because it's probably the hardest part of my day, and I get it over with like that, and then, you know, walking up talking to strangers seems not that uncomfortable comparatively to cold showers, because there's no actual physical discomfort within that. We just are a little bit uncomfortable of awkwardness or whatnot. And obviously, like, you're always gonna have some sort of anxiety about something. Maybe it's not about this, maybe it's about that. But that response is within us. So we just need to learn how to properly control it. And if controlled correctly, it can make us the strongest version of ourselves possible. So with that being said, guys, much more videos coming soon. I had a very impactful conversation with two of my friends, and I wrote down tons of video ideas, kind of like a brainstorming session, if you will. And with that being said, guys, hope you took something away from this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon.